In the dimly lit streets of our small town, where the flickering of streetlights cast long, eerie shadows, our tale begins. It was a night much like any other, with a chill in the air that seemed to seep into our bones as we made our way home from a late-night study session at the local cafe. As we walked, our laughter and chatter filled the silent night, echoing off the empty storefronts and deserted alleyways. But amidst our jovial banter, there was an unmistakable feeling of being watched, a sensation that sent shivers down our spines and quickened our pace. At first, we dismissed it as paranoia, the product of overactive imaginations fueled by too many horror movies and ghost stories. But as we turned the corner onto Elm Street, our unease grew, fueled by the sudden realization that we were not alone. There, lurking in the shadows, was a figure, a dark silhouette that seemed to blend seamlessly into the night. Its presence was unnerving, its eyes gleaming with an intensity that sent a chill down our spines. With hearts pounding and breath caught in our throats, we quickened our pace, desperate to escape the grasp of whatever malevolent force lurked in the darkness. But no matter how fast we ran, the figure remained a constant presence, its silent pursuit driving us further into the depths of fear. As we rounded another corner, we stumbled upon an old, abandoned house, a decrepit structure that loomed like a sinister specter against the backdrop of the moonlit sky. With nowhere else to turn, we sought refuge within its crumbling walls, unaware of the horrors that awaited us within. Inside, the air was thick with the stench of decay, and the floorboards creaked beneath our weight as we navigated the maze-like corridors. Every shadow seemed to conceal some unseen menace, and every whisper of the wind sent shivers down our spines. But it was not until we reached the attic that we discovered the true horror that lay in wait, a shrine to our darkest fears, adorned with photographs and mementos that spoke of an obsession beyond reason. It was then that we realized the truth, that we were not the victims of some random act of terror, but rather the targets of a deranged stalker whose twisted obsession knew no bounds. With trembling hands and racing hearts, we sought to escape the clutches of our unseen tormentor. But with each step, it seemed that the house itself conspired against us, its corridors shifting and changing like the maddening labyrinth of a nightmare. And as we fled into the night, our minds reeling with fear and disbelief, we knew that we could never truly escape the horrors that had been unleashed upon us, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edges of our reality. User. In the remote and isolated town of Hollow Creek, nestled deep within the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, there existed whispers of an ancient curse that had long plagued the local inhabitants. Legend had it that every decade, on the night of the full moon, a spectral figure would emerge from the shadows, roaming the mist-shrouded streets in search of vengeance against those who dared to trespass upon its domain. For generations, the townsfolk dismissed these tales as nothing more than the ramblings of superstitious minds, a way to explain the unexplained and to justify their fear of the unknown. Yet, despite their skepticism, there remained an underlying unease, a sense that there was more to the legends than met the eye. It was against this backdrop of whispered rumors and lingering dread that a group of thrill-seekers embarked on a journey into the heart of the forest one fateful night. Armed with little more than flashlights and a sense of reckless abandon, they set out to uncover the truth behind the spectral apparition that had long haunted their hometown. As they ventured deeper into the wilderness, the dense canopy above seemed to close in around them, suffocating the air with an oppressive sense of foreboding. Yet, fueled by youthful curiosity and a desire for adventure, they pressed on, oblivious to the dangers that lurked just beyond the edge of their perception. It was amidst the eerie stillness of the forest that they first encountered the ghostly apparition. A spectral figure clad in tattered robes, its hollow eyes fixed upon them with a malevolent intensity. Frozen in terror, they watched as the figure drew closer, its ethereal form flickering in and out of existence like a wisp of smoke in the night. With nowhere to run and no means of escape, they found themselves at the mercy of the vengeful spirit, its unearthly cries echoing through the darkness as it exacted its terrible retribution upon them. And as the first rays of dawn broke upon the horizon, all that remained of the ill-fated adventurers was a trail of blood-stained footprints leading back into the depths of the forest, a grim reminder of the horrors that lurked within. In the quiet and unassuming suburb of Willow Creek, a young woman named Emily found herself inexplicably drawn to an antique mirror that had long been a fixture in her family's home. Though its ornate frame and intricate carvings spoke of a bygone era, it was the strange, unsettling aura that surrounded it that captured her imagination and drew her gaze time and time again. At first, Emily dismissed the sensation as nothing more than a trick of the light or her own overactive imagination. But as the days turned into weeks, she began to notice subtle changes, a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye, a sense of unease that seemed to linger long after she had turned away. Determined to uncover the truth behind the mirror's mysterious allure, Emily delved into the annals of her family's history, searching for clues that might shed light on its origins. Yet the more she learned, the more she realized that some secrets were best left undisturbed. It was on a moonlit night, much like any other, that Emily first encountered the shadow, a dark, formless shape that seemed to materialize from the depths of the mirror itself. Paralyzed with fear, she watched as it reached out to her with ghostly fingers, its touch sending a chill down her spine. With each passing night, the shadow grew stronger, its malevolent presence seeping into every corner of Emily's world, until she could no longer tell where reality ended and nightmare began. Desperate for escape, she sought solace in the company of friends and family, but the shadow followed her relentlessly, its sinister whispers echoing through the corridors of her mind. In the end, Emily was forced to confront the darkness that lurked within the mirror, risking everything in a desperate bid to break free from its suffocating embrace. And as she shattered the glass, she watched in horror as the shadow consumed her, dragging her screaming into the abyss of its twisted realm, a fate from which there could be no escape. In the sprawling metropolis of New York City, where the bustling streets teem with life by day, and the neon glow of skyscrapers illuminates the night, there existed a tale shrouded in darkness, a tale of obsession, madness, and the thin line that separates reality from nightmare. At the heart of this story was Sarah, a young woman with a promising career and a vibrant social life. Yet, beneath her cheerful facade lurked a sense of unease, a feeling that she was being watched, followed by unseen eyes that seemed to track her every move. At first, Sarah dismissed these feelings as nothing more than paranoia, the product of living in a city where anonymity was both a blessing and a curse. But as the days turned into weeks, and the whispers of her unseen tormentor grew louder, she could no longer deny the reality of her situation. It began with small, seemingly innocent incidents: a missed phone call from an unknown number, a bouquet of roses left on her doorstep without a card or explanation. Yet, with each passing day, the gestures grew more sinister, more invasive, until Sarah found herself living in a constant state of fear and paranoia. Desperate for answers, Sarah turned to the authorities, but their efforts yielded little more than empty promises and false reassurances. And as the stalker's taunts grew bolder, more brazen, Sarah realized that she was on her own, that if she wanted to survive, she would have to confront her tormentor head-on. Armed with little more than her wits and a fierce determination to survive, Sarah set out to unmask the identity of her stalker, following a trail of breadcrumbs that led her deeper into the shadows of the city than she had ever dared to venture before. Yet with each step she took, the line between reality and nightmare blurred further, until she could no longer trust her own senses. Shadows seemed to dance at the edge of her vision. Whispers echoed through the empty alleyways, and every stranger she passed on the street became a potential threat. It was amidst this atmosphere of paranoia and uncertainty that Sarah finally came face to face with her tormentor, a figure shrouded in darkness, its features obscured by the veil of night. Yet, even as she stared into the abyss of its soulless eyes, Sarah knew that this was no ordinary stalker, that there was something far more sinister at play. With adrenaline coursing through her veins and fear gripping her heart, Sarah fought back against her assailant, unleashing a fury born of desperation and survival instinct. And as the stalker's grip loosened, Sarah seized her chance to escape, fleeing into the night with the echoes of her own screams ringing in her ears. In the aftermath of her ordeal, Sarah found herself forever changed, a shadow of the person she once was, haunted by the memories of the darkness that had threatened to consume her. Yet, amidst the ruins of her shattered reality, she found a strength she never knew she possessed, a resilience born of surviving the darkest of nights and emerging into the light once more.